What is good, everybody? Thank you for joining me. I wanted to come here briefly. Yeah, I had to look on my phone to make sure that I actually had went live publicly because I was testing out a couple of lives on the private feature up on StreamYard. And so I'm like, am I even really live? But I am live. But I wanted to come here and give y'all my perspective, or at least go ahead and check in. The biggest news that happened, it seems, this week was about Jay Wilson being afraid for his life, y'all. I have never heard him be so scared, heard him be trembling, heard him so scared to call Tracy of all people. Because anytime that you feel like you have something going on with you, the last thing that you do is call your enemy. So I listen to other people's perspectives of it. Because I mean, if I feel like my life is on the line or something is going wrong with me, I would never pick up the phone and call somebody that I'm actively fighting with up on here, unless it's for a good reason. And I actually was able to hear a few different theories and a few different perspectives about what happened, why this happened, and everything. And some of them really are plausible. This is the reason why I titled this Glawd Hammercy. Because I don't know if y'all remember whenever the damn, was it jacked? What was that? Yeah, I think it was the jacked ringtone. The jacked app happened to Jay Wilson. He was like, Glawd and mercy. What's good, Barbara SAPD, under new management? Jessica Michelle, no pressure, M-Tape. He was like, Glawd and mercy. And you know, Jay Wilson always want to call to the Glawd whenever things start getting messed up for him. Oh, the grinder. Well, the grinder happened at the begin in like 2018 or 2019, but here recently, M-Tape, last year, the Jacked app went off, and he was like, "Lord have mercy." He did that so much that Duchess Kelly Love had made a song about it. And it's a real funny song, M-Tape, if you ain't heard it. Duchess Kelly Love will take a soundbite. He'll take a soundbite and he will make a jingle in a minute. So if you ain't heard it, you need to hear it. But so I heard through the grapevine, even though I saw Jay Wilson came back briefly today, but I heard through the grapevine, y'all, that this thing might have something to do with Mark. And I actually heard a couple of people bring that up. I think I first heard it on Reed's Live yesterday morning. Then I heard on Tim Blaine's. And that was one other thing, y'all, because I meant to come to y'all last night. But as soon as I started coming to y'all last night, Pizarro came back. And so I had to abandon that live immediately because I need to get over there to Pizarro's, because also this week, people were speculating saying that Pizarro was up in jail. So when I saw Pizarro went live last night, as I was starting up my live last night, I immediately ended my live and deleted it to go over there to be nosy. Pizarro said she went up in jail, y'all. And I hope she wasn't. The way she talked, though, she said that she's very used to being in jail, but I hope she wasn't in there. But M-Tape said I heard it. Hey, Jessica Michelle and just me, everybody. So, yeah, they were saying that Pizarro might have been in jail, which I know it's been a couple of times under new management where you might be looking for a content creator and they ain't been here for a couple of weeks, if not a few months, and the person have been in jail. I could name specifically about 2 or 3 of them, but I'm not trying to put people's business out there. But sometimes that's the case, where whenever you used to seeing somebody up in the beef sector every day and then you stop seeing them, a lot of times that's where they be. But anyway, so they saying that there is a chance that that Mark was being doxxed. According to Timothy Blaine's live yesterday, y'all, Tim said, and he actually eyewitnessed it, that somebody showed up in a live and doxed Mark's information. He wouldn't say which live it was on, which that's the thing, y'all. Now, Tim might not like Jay Wilson, but one thing that we ain't never known Tim to do is lie. I ain't known Tim to lie. And Tim said it was last week sometime that somebody showed up and doxed Mark is Jay Wilson's boyfriend. Mark is Jay Wilson's boyfriend. No pressure. If it wasn't for me hearing Jay Wilson whenever Tracy was on the live, I would believe it was a junkie stunt. But it's just hard for me to believe that this is fake. Now, Jay Wilson is probably trying to save face now, especially since Jason has already been on here saying that he didn't try to do anything to harm Jay Wilson. Jessica Michelle, Mark and Jay Wilson have been together for about 3 years or 4 years, but the thing is, Jay Wilson used to bring Mark on here with him, and people started getting up in Mark's business. Jay Wilson actually stopped bringing Mark on here with him whenever Mark would come on here. He would post pictures of him and Mark would get drugged. One time he had Mark up on the live with him and people was dragging Mark saying that Mark was an alcoholic. And then that's whenever all the information started coming about the fact that Mark and Tracy knew each other and about how Mark might have dated Tracy or liked Tracy because Tracy used to work at the same place that Mark used to get his hair cut. Hey, Suncatcher. Hey, Poppy Scott. So, Shanice said Jessica knows. Okay. So, yeah, but Timothy Blaine was saying that Mark's information was dropped up in the chat while somebody was live. And it also included his job information. Now, what Tim said was that the only person that could have known Mark's job information would be Tracy because Tracy lived out there in San Antonio. So Timothy Blaine was thinking that perhaps the reason why Jay Wilson was up in the panic and called Tracy was because it had something to do with Mark. And it's one of those things that make you go, Because now, No Pressure said, even if it's true, it won't stop Pastor from being here. Now that I don't know. No Pressure. Somebody gotta be a really strange individual to know that their party's information or that their partners, job, name, address, and things like that, the personal information of their life partner is out here on the line and they would still prefer to be here. You got to be strange as hell for that. You got to be strange as hell. I've known a few different YouTubers who left here specifically because things got too hot whenever it came to the beef sector and doxing and all this. And their partner started getting involved. Because if your partner is an innocent party and has nothing to do with the beef sector, why in the hell would you stick around and hear if people are doxing your partner? He lost 5 jobs. But Mark, that's the thing. This is about Mark. Oh, hey, Shanice. Are you about to go? Flo, hey Flo, hey to YouTube cameras, Miss Mask, and everybody. Yeah, I just think it's crazy because I know personally a handful of different YouTubers that I can recall who have abandoned the YouTube platform for a time being because when people realized that they couldn't touch them, people started trying to touch their significant other. One specifically, I was listening to Seven tell his story the other day. The guy that Seven is currently dating, a few years back, that guy used to be on YouTube, and he got doxxed. And back then, about 3-4 years ago, that guy was married, and his wife got doxxed. And people was playing on his wife's job and stuff like that. According to what I heard Seven say, I believe Seven was saying the wife's personal information got put out there, which caused them two to get separated. And they ended up separated from the marriage, if not getting divorced. And now Seven has reconnected with the guy. And not only that, YouTube has been the catalyst of breaking many relationships. So if in fact Mark's job and his livelihood is being threatened and Jay Wilson don't give a damn, well, I can only imagine that Jay Wilson will end up single very, very soon, if he's not already single. Because if, and I'm saying if, this was an issue with Mark's information being put out here and Jay Wilson would still choose YouTube over Mark, then he made the choice and chose YouTube over Mark. You know? Even leads me to the thing that we saw this week that happened with Brooke. I wasn't touching too much on it because let me tell y'all what I think when it comes to this. And I have to give my honest and unbiased opinion. Hey to everybody. Well, no pressure. Jay Wilson might not go anywhere, but that don't mean that Mark gonna stick around. If it is true that people were doxing Mark up in the chat, because that's what Tim Blaine said. Tim Blaine said it. But anyway, y'all, it leads me to the Brooke thing. My honest and unbiased opinion is this. Malik was wrong for coming on here and spilling the tea about what happened with him and Brooke and about them being separated. Yes. 100% I blame Malik. However, Malik spilled that tea on a channel that gets little to no traction. Period. Who knows? Had people not picked up the ball and ran with that entire story, y'all, Malik could have very well have been able to reach out to Pretty Chocolate Girl and have her private the video. Brooke might have been able to reach out to Pretty Chocolate Girl and have her private the video. Because it's not like it will be causing Pretty Chocolate Girl to lose money because she is not even monetized on her channel yet. But because some people are opportunistic and would prefer to prey on the relationship of others, the first person to bring it out here outside of that marital couple was Lady Nika. And I feel like that was a move to capitalize on the misfortune of the marriage. And it really bothered me last week just watching it play out because I've listened to them so many times say that they never disrespect anybody's marriage. Even with Pizarro, in the situation going on with Pizarro, where people don't know whether or not she has a husband or not, they stayed speaking about the sanctity of marriage and how that's very important and you need to respect people's marriages. But all I saw was the utmost and ultimate disrespect of somebody's marriage. Meanwhile, nobody would want that to be done to them. Nobody would. Nobody would want their marriage to be spoken of and made commentary, which I mean, to be honest, At best, Lady Nika might receive $12 on her videos where she discussed this marriage. And I understood Brooke's point of view where Brooke had an expectation. But y'all, this is the reason why you never have expectations of people, because you will wind up disappointed if you do. Brooke had a certain expectation of Lady Nika. Brooke thought that Lady Nika and her were closer than I guess what they actually were. Brooke assumed, she made the mistake of assuming, and hey, pretty chocolate girl, I see you and Miss Kimmy and everybody. Brooke assumed that Lady Nika would give her the same respect that she gave Tracy, which I think is bogus as hell, because Tracy wasn't married. Tracy was barely in a relationship. Tracy had only met that man for 3 or 4 days. Meanwhile, we talking about a marriage of people that have been together for like 16 or 17 years. And if somebody is saying, well, could you please not discuss this? Could you please not? The respectful thing to do, if you care about respecting other people's marriages, is to honor that request. If Brooke went to Lady Nika and said, could you please not discuss this? Could you please not? Then if Lady Nika respected Brooke, Lady Nika would not discussed it. But then Lady Nika is talking about how Brooke disrespected her. But in my eyes, on the outside looking in, the first form of disrespect came when Brooke asked or requested that of Lady Nika, and Lady Nika ignored it and did whatever she wanted to do. What's good, Pizarro? And Taylor Made and everybody. That's the first thing that seemed disrespectful. Because I mean, y'all, let's put it in, let's stop looking at it about a marriage. Let's say that Lady Nika and Brooke had their YouTube ship or whatever they had, where they message each other. They exchange phone numbers enough for Newbie to be able to get her phone number and all this kind of stuff. If Lady Nika had accidentally stepped on Brooke's foot, stepped on her toe, and it hurt Brooke, and Brooke said, Lady Nika, please don't step on my foot anymore. And Lady Nika say, well, stepping on feet is a business. It's a business. I'm going to keep stepping on your foot. I'm going to step on your foot again because it's a business. I'm just here making my money. It's a business. What? That would be the ultimate form of disrespect. If you accidentally stepped on somebody's foot and it hurt them and they say, please don't step on my foot again, if you cared about them and respected them, then what you would do is try to make sure that you don't do that anymore. You don't come on here and say, well, everybody else gonna step on your foot. I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna be the one that I'm not gonna apply 100% of my body weight on it. I'm gonna still step on your foot, but I'm not gonna let all of my body weight lean over to the foot that I'm using to step on your foot with. I believe if I don't step on your foot right now, everybody else gonna come through and step on your foot, and they not gonna care about if you just got a pedicure. They not gonna care about chipping off the nail polish on your toenails. They ain't gonna care about the boot that you got on. They not gonna care about being delicate about stepping on your foot. They just gonna come and step on your foot anyway. And this is a business, so let me go ahead and step on your foot first. The fuck? The fuck? I, for the life of me, could not understand how people were not getting the fact that Brooke expressed that her father just passed away and she might be pregnant, y'all. What's good, Lady Steph and Miss Boss Lady? Information Man Show, quick on the juice, everybody. Yeah, that right there and enough. Should have been enough to give the woman the grace and not discuss the bullshit on here. If you consider her a YouTube ship or whatever. Just on the strength that she dealing with the death of her father. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, she also been dealing with the potential loss of her marriage. That in itself would have been enough for me to be like, okay, I ain't gonna discuss it. I ain't gonna say nothing about it, XYZ. And we're not even gonna put on the top the fact that she may be pregnant. Because everybody is speculating on this woman's pregnancy as well. Let's say she is pregnant. A pregnant woman is already emotional anyway. Then to be dealing with the death of a father and to be possibly dealing with the death of her marriage, so to speak. Why would you not have the heart to be empathetic about that and not discuss it if that person asked you not to discuss it? But it's all about the $12 that could be made up on the video. Y'all, it baffles me. I have just been watching this. And you know something? It really makes me understand. It makes me understand why sometimes you just have to be still and just be on the outside looking in and just watch things, observe things. As crazy as this beef sector is, y'all, I learned certain things just looking at everybody. And that right there, I was like, oh my goodness. But even I brought up the Brooke situation to say, people are saying that if Mark was doxxed here on people's chats and stuff in the beef sector, and that Jay Wilson would not leave YouTube because of it, we are watching the breakdown of a marriage on here because of YouTube. We are witnessing a crazy ass situation about a marriage. But I know for certain, after Malik has spilled the beans over there on Pretty Chocolate Girls, for whatever reason that he did it, I'm sure that if either one of them, Malik or Brooke, picked up their phone and asked Pretty Chocolate Girl if she could private that live, I believe she would have done it. But before she could private the live, Lady Nika took it up on her platform and had about 600 people up in there being exposed to it. The information. Being exposed to all of this about these people's marriage. But then claiming to care. I care about the marriage. I will handle it the best way possible and all this. No, you care about the $12 that you might receive in your AdSense check. Y'all, that was really just off-putting to me. And to be honest, I was disappointed because I honestly expected more of Lady Nika. I know she has disappointed me in the past before, but I expected more from her. Because, you know, she got her boyfriend that she talk about from time to time. And I just expected that she would have understood where Brooke was coming from. But the more that I watched it, people acted like Brooke was wrong for having a simple request. Having a simple request to not have her marriage discussed. Then the beef sector is quick to say that they care about kids, which is bullshit. Lady Nika just said that she would denounce in the VS voice. Denounce anybody that talk ill of kids or drag kids or whatever. But everybody last week was making a spectacle of this marriage as if they don't have a kid who utilizes social media and could run across that. Child. Because it ain't like Brooke's son is young. I think he like 11 or 12 years old. He know how to use the internet. He know how to watch YouTube videos. He know how to peruse around. And I'm almost willing to bet that he's very much familiar with many of the names up in this sector because his mother and father were so heavily involved within the sector. And it's like, y'all don't care that the little boy might come across this video? You just care about your $12 that you might make on it, huh? Child. I guess. I guess. Yeah, looky. They do only care about the coin. Right. Street D. I was trying to give my comments about it as it was going on. And I kept getting timed out over there on Lady Nika's, which I think is crazy that her moderators would time me out for being logical about this situation. I needed to be timed out because I wasn't going along with this mess. Because it's a blatant disrespect and disregard to marriage, which is the exact thing that Nika has always said that she would never disrespect. Or maybe she won't disrespect the marriage of the people that she like, child. I don't know. Natural Bay. I do care about Brooke's kid. I mean, Brooke ain't did nothing to me and neither did her kid. I wouldn't dare want him to come and listen to the bullshit that was happening. I mean, hell, if Brooke really is pregnant and this kid run around and listen to people saying that the baby don't exist and the baby ain't real, the fuck? Child. For him to come through and listen to the whole speculation about the baby having a different daddy and all this stuff, which Brooke put that mess in the atmosphere. I don't know why Brooke did that. I don't believe that was a smart choice, but she did what she thought was best to do at that time. She thought that's what it was best for her to do. And so I just was looking at that. But again, just goes to show me that some people will choose YouTube over the relationship, which could be Jay Wilson coming back and saying that he ran the play, even though he sounded scared shitless and accusing Jason and all this of doing stuff. And then Tim Blaine is adamant that Mark's information has been being doxed in the chats recently. And yes, Jay Wilson has lost many jobs on here. But you would have to be a selfish somebody to say that you love your partner and you see them being doxed in this motherfucker and you don't give a damn about it. That's all I'm saying. Miss Kimmy said, to be fair, Brooke and Malik are both adults. It's their responsibility to be concerned about what they put on the World Wide Web for any and everyone to see forever. Don't seem like they care as parents. And that could very well be the case. It could. I mean, it seems like they might be at the point of the separation where neither one of them give a fuck. Because y'all know there are the stages of grief that people go through whenever you lose a loved one, when you lose a job, when you lose a relationship, when you lose, a a relative or a child or whatever. There are stages of grief. And I thought about the stages of grief too, because I'm like, well, they probably have known about this long enough to be going through the grieving process of this, if they even grieve the marriage. And they've probably already gone through the disappointment phase. They've probably already gone through the denial phase, and now they just at the anger phase, where they just angry and duking it out on here. But I don't think that calling yourself to have a YouTube ship with somebody and you be the first person, knowing your platform is large and people messy as hell, that you would be the first person to carry it over there to talk about it. I mean, but what do I know? What do I know? Poppy Scott said, I feel like it was all a play, just my opinion, just like a fake robbery. Diamond Doris said, Jay Wilson said he is working with Google and law enforcement. He did say it. But everybody is saying that Jay Wilson is just kicking up smoke, Dory. But I know that he wasn't kicking up smoke. Just the fact that he had to put his pride aside to pick up his telephone and call Tracy is enough for anybody to know that he wasn't making a play. The stages of grief. Stages of grief, Marcus G. Because you got to be in a low down situation to actually feel like you have to pick up the phone to call somebody who you are actively fighting with, that you have to pick up the phone to call somebody who is actively working to try to sabotage your meet and greet, to pick up the phone and have to put your pride aside to ask for that person to help you. And now y'all want to tell me it's just a play? Fuck out of here with that bullshit. Now, sometimes people up on YouTube be so stuck about things being a play, what's a play and what's not a play, that they really lose logic and rationale. Because ain't no way in hell, except for the fact that he needed Tracy because either A, Tracy held the information that he needed in order to try to pin this on Jason, even though Jason went live a couple of times in the last two days or so and said he don't have nothing to do with this. Or B, he needed Tracy because Tracy knows about Mark as well, because they had a previous situationship before Jay Wilson ever met Mark. Hey, everybody. I just don't know that I will just choose YouTube if I know that my partner is being doxxed and about to be fired or something like that. I don't know that I would, y'all. But that's me. But yeah. So anyway, with the Brooke and Malik thing, Lady Nika felt disrespected because Brooke went and drugged them up on her channel. But Lady Nika is forgetting that she actually dished out the first form of disrespect by not respecting Brooke's wish. People talk about being disrespected. Oh, because they got drugged. Oh, because you talked about fat, black, and ugly. Oh, because you this. Oh, you colorist and all this. But they fail to realize that disrespecting somebody's wish is still a form of disrespect. When did people forget? If you are disrespecting the wish of somebody that you claim that you are a close friend with, or that you have a YouTube ship with, disrespecting their wishes is still a form of disrespect. So you can't get mad if they run over to their platform and disrespect you, because you already just blatantly disrespected them. But I guess I'd be the only person thinking about things like that. People said because Malik said it on Pretty Chocolate Girl that they could just run and talk about it. But again, it's almost like the women that wear the pantyhose or whatever. You know how sometimes they could get a little snag in they the little stocking, the little pantyhose. Well, it's a snag right there. But imagine if everybody saw the snag and started just taking that snag and clawing at it and trying to stretch it out wider and wider and wider, talking about, well, I want to go ahead and claw at the snag up in your stocking before everybody else does. Well, it's already a little hole up in it. I'm just trying, I'm going to make it bigger, but I'm going to make sure I do it delicately and all this kind of stuff. Either way, you destroying the damn stocking. Either way, you destroying it. And so, to me, y'all, this past week, I witnessed people aid in destroying a marriage. And I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's pretty much the moral of my story. I watch people aid in destroying a marriage. Yes, Malik put it out here first. Malik was wrong to put it out here. But you are also wrong to keep running with it and doing panel after panel. Ugh, it's weird. And Brooke ain't even my friend. I ain't even friends with Brooke like that. But I'm calling it like I saw it, y'all. And that's how I saw it. But anyway, let me see. Yeah, I watched Reed and VS this morning. I watched it. It was, first off, they started like 20 minutes late, which I was like, oh my goodness. And then it started off really, really slow, y'all. What they was talking about started off kind of slow. But it eventually started picking up a little bit. But yeah, I was able to tune in for that. I really don't have much of an opinion about it. Except I do feel like to a certain degree, I see a lot of people just really fanning out over VS being around. And I just got to keep it real. But then I had to think about it and be like, well, is this different in Reed's behavior? And I had to think about it and go through my YouTube Rolodex within my head. And I'm like, well, no, maybe this is not a weird dynamic because Reed and VS used to talk behind the scenes back in the day anyway. Remember whenever it was outed that Reed was feeding information to VS? Well, VS came and outed that mess. And was like, well, Reed been telling her XYZ. Reed been emailing her. Reed was giving her receipts on people. Reed was doing all this back then. Well, Reed preferred to talk to her behind the scenes, but she didn't want people in front of the scenes to know that they had that type of situationship. But now that VS done came back, because VS refuses now to be behind the scenes with other people, then that's the reason why Reed has no choice. But if she wants to engage with her, then she got to engage in the front of the scenes, because VS has adamantly said that she ain't doing no behind the scenes conversations or topics with anybody. Hey, Felicia and Slappy and everybody. And Nubian. Nubian said, so Jay Wilson, you caught the wrong person and falsely accused Jason. Well, yeah, Jason said that he has been falsely accused, which people gonna get enough for doing these false accusations. Because Jason said he ain't had nothing to do with that. Whatever it is. Then even like how they done falsely accused people out here, child, I never thought ever that somebody would get out here and put such an accusation upon somebody. And then once they realized that they were wrong, whether it was a troll move or not, once you realize you're wrong, that's your time to apologize. But for whatever reason, Kimmy's neck won't allow her to apologize. Kimmy's throat is so thick that it will not allow her to apologize. But the first thing that she should have done is apologize to that man. Because the whole narrative was just spread about him. Nubian Warrior said Tracy Doc's Mark. Well, I don't know if she did or not. Hey, Sexy Desi. But I think that Kimmy owes the Peeper dude an apology big time. And I hope that VS is paying attention and she will learn from this situation. Not to follow her black ass behind Kimmy's lying ass again. Because Kimmy's lying ass out here with this incorrect information and had VS ass jumping up on the bandwagon accusing this man of this bullshit. And hopefully VSC now, hey, Kimmy is a liar, like what people say. No, it's not just Brianna that say that Kimmy is a liar. We all know Kimmy is a big liar. And hopefully she paying attention. Because you can't just be putting that type of allegation up on a man like that. People were saying that Peeper should sue Kimmy, but I mean, Kimmy is broke as fuck. What could he get from her? Hell, her husbands didn't even get much of anything from her in the divorces because she broke. So I don't know that him suing her, even though he would be well justified to do so, I don't know if he would get anything. But hopefully VS is saying that she better be wise and very hesitant jumping on the bandwagon of some of these bullshit ass stories that some of these people come up with on here, especially Kimmy. Because you will wind up in some motherfucking trouble listening and following behind something that Kimmy said, y'all. But lie about the Peeper thing, about that man, about Peeper in the game. The lie that this man was a predator and all this kind of mess. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a lie. I don't even watch ZX like that, but I saw somebody had shared ZX video because ZX was debunking the lie, and ZX had actually called the man that was up in listed in that mugshot. And essentially, within the state of Florida, the name that Kimmy looked up, if you look that up within a given area of Florida, 151 results show up within the search of that name. So imagine in that particular area of Florida that it's 151 people with the same exact name. And Kimmy just decided to pick one of them and say that was Peeper. Y'all, that's some crazy ass shit. Oh, and please like my video. But yeah, y'all, I call this Glawd Hammercy because I just been sitting back in the cut just watching all this shit unfold. YouTube is a hell of a drug. Can fuck up relationships, fuck up marriages. But I know damn well, and that's one of the reasons too. Currently, with the young lady that I'm conversing with, I won't even let her know anything about YouTube whatsoever for the very reason. Because these people will figure out who the person is, try to dox them, try to get them fired, all types of bullshit. Meanwhile, that's nothing that the person signed up for. Mark ain't signed up to be doxxed. Now, Jay Wilson continuously signs up to be doxxed every single time he get on here and be messy. But Mark didn't. But some people eventually deem certain things acceptable. I guess when we see it so much, it's deemed acceptable. But yeah, that's just my take on everything that I saw this past week, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me. Um, I think that's really all I got. I saw that Brianna had a live schedule that should happen sometime this afternoon. So I plan to go over there and listen to what she's talking about. But I appreciate y'all for joining me here. Thank y'all so much. Um, if I have something else to say, I'll probably be back maybe tomorrow or something. But for the most part, I think I've said enough. And I really do feel disappointed in Lady Nika because she says she respect the marriages, but maybe she respect all the marriages except for Brooks. Y'all take care, be blessed, and don't stress.